But first, we talk about the Frontenacs as we so often do. And of course, a few weeks back, I had myself a heated debate with one of the voices of the Frontenacs, John Begg, on this very program, about the trade that the Frontenacs made, getting rid of the man they considered to be their future, that a few years ago they said was going to be given every opportunity to succeed as a Kingston Frontenac. We're, of course, talking about Alan Quine. He was sent to the Peterborough Petes along with Clark Seymour, the defenseman, and some draft picks in return for Ryan Spooner and Jeff Braithwaite, the defenseman from the Petes. Quine, of course, so far this year with the Frontenacs had only scored 11 points in 17 games, as though that's a bad thing, but since going to Peterborough has had himself one heck of a 3-game streak. He's now up to 6 goals and 3 assists for 9 points in 9 games. That's only 1 point back of Ryan Spooner. Not that you should be judging that trade based on the overall point production of this single year, especially since Spooner has a year on Quine. I've heard people start to make that argument. I'd like to stop it in its tracks before possible, but just take a listen to some of the contributions Alan Quine has been making to a Peterborough Petes team that struggled mightily from the beginning of the year. It was without question one of the most difficult teams to be a fan of, and you felt bad for the very loyal fan base out in Peterborough. But Quine in the last few, don't forget the Petes, came away with a win over one of the best teams in the entire Ontario Hockey League, Saginaw. It was a power play overtime game winner over the Saginaw Spirit against former Kingston Frontenac goaltender Maverick Parks, who of course has done fairly well for himself after being traded from the Frontenacs organization, and who scored that overtime game-winning goal but Alan Quine. Then the next game against the Plymouth Whalers, another very good Western Conference team, the Petes smushed them 4-1 in regulation, and 3 of the 4 Peterborough goals came off the stick of Alan Quine. Then most recently they had a bit of a letdown against the Windsor Spitfires. They got out to a 2-0 lead and then gave up 7 straight to lose. But Quine had himself yet another goal. Now tonight the Petes will be hosting the Belleville Bulls, one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference, which has just traded its leading scorer Richard Panik, so potentially a good chance for Quine to excel even more. And then tomorrow night both teams, Peterborough and Kingston, will be on one day's rest as the Frontenacs are in Oshawa tonight to play the Generals. It should be one heck of an entertaining one. And without further ado, we are now joined on the line by the man in question, the former Kingston Frontenacs center, former second overall draft pick in the OHL priority selection, now, of course, forward for the Peterborough Petes. Alan Quine joins us now on Offsides. And Alan, first of all, thanks for giving me some of your time today.
Thanks for having me.
First thing to ask, what's the adjustment process been like in Peterborough? Are you pretty well settled in at this point?
Yeah, I think I've adjusted pretty well. I've gotten into a good billet family here and into school, and all the guys are treating me really well, and I'm really happy to be here.
It's been one heck of a great sequence for you the past few games. Apart from that loss to Windsor, you had yourself a big overtime game-winning goal. You're now at a point-a-game pace. What's been the key to your recent success with Peterborough?
I think just having an open mind and playing hockey like I know I can, and getting the opportunity is huge. I mean, he's given me opportunity to play in all situations, which is something I didn't really get in the past. So I think just having an open mind, playing with some good players, and the coaching here has been great too.
Let me rewind just briefly back to the time when you were traded from Kingston. Was that a big surprise to you? Did you have inklings at the beginning of the year that you might be moved?
Well, I think it all started last spring when Nathan Moon was I heard he was coming back, and of course that doesn't put me high on the depth charts because he's a good player. Him and Ethan Warwick are 2 high-profile centers, so I guess that doesn't put me very high on, as they thought, on the depth charts. So we had some conversations saying what if he did come back, and he did end up coming back, and if things got to the point where I guess ice time wasn't coming, and they said they would maybe move me to a team where I could have some opportunity, and I guess as the season started, got some good ice time, and then it started to fade there. And I think I spoke to Mav a bit, and he said he'd let me go, no problem. It's just, and I appreciate what Mav did. He let me go when he knew a better opportunity was out there. I guess that's how it kind of came down.
I guess that might catch a few France fans off guard a little, Alan, because what we'd heard at the beginning of the year was when Nathan Moon was coming back, the most likely result was going to be moving him to the wing so that you would get basically top 2 line ice time. Was that the message that was given to you? Because we heard in the newspaper, in talking about you, they said they were going to play the heck out of you this year, and obviously, as you yourself admit, that didn't really happen. Did that come as a surprise?
Yeah, I think so. That was the main idea at first, and I did play with Moon. He was on the wing, and then it kind of drifted away. So I guess they had other plans, and they're making of course, Kingston's a good team, so they're trying to make a run for it this year. And I guess they did what was best, and I think everything's working out.
When you did hear that the trade was in place, of course, the last stepping stone was getting all the players involved to waive their no-trade clauses. Was there any hesitation on your part, even though knowing you'd get more ice time, but also knowing it was going to be a big adjustment, and you'd be leaving a team you'd been with for the better part of over a year?
Yeah, well, I guess it was tough to leave Kingston. Kingston was a great city. I mean, all the guys there, I love them. They're good to me. I've got a lot of friends there, but I guess you do what's best for your hockey career, and that was my main focus, even though leaving was tough. But the fans were great there in Kingston, but a little different going from Kingston to Peterborough. It's not that far, but
yeah.
I guess a little different organization as far as points and standings this year. But I mean, that's just a process, and every player usually has to deal with stuff like that.
Now, when you went over, of course, you came with one of your former teammates in Clark Seymour. Did that make the adjustment process at all easier? Were you guys close before the trade?
Yeah, definitely. Clark's a great friend of mine, and to have him come with me was as an added bonus, I guess.
Are there guys in particular, whether line mates or friends back in Kingston with the Frontenacs, that you miss particularly now, having been in Peterborough for some time?
Yeah, I miss a few guys there. I was good buddies with Thoreau and Davidson and all those younger guys, and a few of the older guys too were great to me. So, you know, I do miss those guys, and I still do keep in touch with them, and I'm looking forward to coming back in Kingston Friday night. Yeah,
I think a lot of people are really looking forward to the rematch. But when you came first to Peterborough, and you speak with Coach Mike Polino about what he expects out of you, why you were, I mean, because there was a big bidding process in that Ryan Spooner trade, and you were really the centerpiece that the Petes really wanted. What did they tell you about what they liked about you, what they expected, maybe as well what they wanted you to work on?
I don't think there was a lot of expectations put on me right away. I guess Coach Polino and Dave Reed had some. They do have some high expectations, but not right away. They didn't really. They say come in here, play open, play like you do, and we'll see what happens, and we'll give you coaching along the way. So they were really good about that, and just let me play.
How stark have the differences been, or what differences have you noticed between the coaching style of Mike Polino and that of Doug Gilmore?
Oh, I think here in Peterborough, practices are pretty long. First couple practices, I was pretty tired. My wind wasn't up to what I guess how it is now, but practices are pretty long here. Coaching staff, they've all been really good. I mean, they stay on the ice. There's usually 3 or 4 of them on the ice there, doing extra drills with me after practice if I want, and they've all been really good. Some video here and there, so you know I'm really enjoying it.
Even if you're totally winded at the end of a practice, does it still feel worth it?
Yeah, if you're winded, you're doing something right, and you're pushing yourself to become better. So that's always something that I've done in the past, and I'm glad that style is in place here in Peterborough.
It seems to have really paid off for you guys. You look at that game against Mississauga. I mean, only losing to the Majors, best team in the league, by 1 goal. That's something that the Frontenacs can't even say. And then the big win over the Saginaw Spirit, of course. What's been the difference team-wise in just how the team's turned around? Are they just hitting a good stretch right now, or is there a sense that the team in general has turned the corner from the struggles at the beginning of the year?
I think we've got a young team here in Peterborough. A lot of new guys, a lot of different faces, I guess. But I think just work ethic and battle level, I think, has been good lately. I mean, losing to Peterborough or to Mississauga, and we had them 3-3, hit a post, and could have went either way. And then beating Saginaw and Plymouth was huge for us, and coming close to Windsor. So I guess we've really turned things up here lately, and I think it's just due to dedication and hard work. All the guys believe in what we're doing here, and it's paying off.
Is it still in the back of your mind that it's your draft year this year, and was that part of the thinking process as far as finding a new team this year?
Yeah, I think so. Coming into my second year in the league, it's my draft year, and you want to be able to play in situations and get out there and showcase what you can do. And Peterborough is a young team, so I mean, they've been giving me great opportunity here, and I just hope to take advantage of it and not take it for granted when I get out there.
Is there anything in your mind standing between you right now and where you want to be come draft time, or is it just an issue of you need to have the opportunity to showcase what you can do because you believe you already have those abilities?
Yeah, I think I do have the abilities, and it's just all a matter of putting it together and I guess using your abilities and being able to produce and work hard and do the little things right.
When you look back on overall your time as a Kingston Frontenac, what kind of thoughts come to mind?
I think I had a lot of fun here in Kingston. Every home game I was pumped up for, playing in front of the fans in Kingston. All my buddies in Kingston, all my teammates were great to me, and they made me feel at home. And Doug Gilmore was a pretty cool coach to have, so that's pretty special. That doesn't come around often. So I think that was that's a major thing that really was about Kingston, and just the city and the atmosphere, the school, everybody, all the people around the organization. They were all extremely professional, and they treated me well. So I think that's something I miss about Kingston.
When we look back, though, at the time you were drafted, the team said to the newspaper at the time, and I'm quoting, that you would get every chance to prove what you could do. And it really seems that over a year and a bit, that wasn't really the case, that you got every chance that you could have been provided with. Are there at all any hard feelings towards that? Or now that you're in a situation where you do feel you're getting the right chances, is it all basically forgotten?
Yeah, I don't think there's any hard feelings. It's hockey, and what happens, and I guess, Kingston's high in depth, and they have got a good team, so it's expected in some ways. So I guess it's all in the past now. I'm just looking forward.
And then finally, with the game coming up, I know you've got a game Thursday, but also the one against the Frontenacs. Have you had that date circled ever since the trade?
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be exciting to come back into Kingston Friday.
Does Clark Seymour feel the same way?
Yeah, I'm sure he does. We're all pretty excited to get in there and hopefully get a win.
All right. Well, Alan, really appreciate your time here this afternoon. Best of luck tonight and then the next against the Kingston Frontenacs. We'll enjoy seeing you back at the K-Rock Center, even if you're wearing the wrong colors this time.
Okay. Thanks, Tyler.
That's Alan Quine, the former Kingston Frontenac, now, of course, with the Peterborough Petes on Offsides, Kingston's most listened to hour-long sports talk program. It's now 4:15, and we're glad to have you with us. As always, our huge thanks to Alan Quine and to the Peterborough Petes organization for helping me set that up. Very nice of them. And, folks, when you think about a guy like Alan Quine and the things he just said there, actually, something that's going to stick in my head for the longest time. Were you not shocked when he said that the practices are longer in Peterborough? I don't think there's a single ex-Frontenac who I've raised that issue with who hasn't said that where they are now, whether it's the Petes, whether it's the Kingston Voyageurs, I've had a few of them tell me that too, they'd say the practices are longer. It's an interesting trend. I'm just saying. But when you think about Alan Quine, a name that pops to mind, and I'd like folks to go back and look through the stats. Maybe you disagree, but it seems like a Luke Pither situation in the sense that someone comes in, a highly touted rookie, has sort of an okay first year point-wise. Of course, Quine did produce more than Pither did in his first and second years, but then early into their second year, traded away to another organization. And with that new organization, in the case of Pither, he had himself about a half a point a game production rate, and Quine's way above that now. He's averaging a point a game, but you can't really expect him to keep that up for the entire year. Quine might, of course, get drafted, and that would put him well ahead of Pither, but then you think about what happened with Luke Pither in Guelph. The things just slowly got better and better and better because he was getting the opportunities. He was becoming developed, and by the end of his OHL career, Luke Pither was one of the best forwards in the Ontario Hockey League with 94 points in his overage year, and he's now got a pro contract with the Adirondack Phantoms of the American Hockey League. And it seems, and again, I may be completely wrong, people will say, I know, regardless of what Alan Quine accomplishes, they'll say the trade for Ryan Spooner was worth it. But Alan Quine is the kind of guy that you saw the flashes of brilliance last year. You saw them early this year, I think, too, when he was actually given playing time. And then people were making the argument to me that, well, Quine's production really dropped off. It was time to, cast off as when it came to Alan Quine. But really, was it that his production went down or that his opportunities to produce went down? I would argue it was just as much the latter as it was the former. Now that he's getting the opportunities in Peterborough, he's actually showing what he can do, and we may see that on Friday night at the K-Rock Center when the new-look Peterborough Petes come into town to play the Frontenacs. Game time is 7:30. I'll be there. Hope it's a good one.